My name is Tammy Smith, and I am running for District 3. Of course, I had the experience as president in 2012 to be president of the school board when we went through the construction bond. And I think that we did a great job of doing community meetings to solicit input and to gain knowledge from the voters. Of course, being a businesswoman in Bossier Parish and owning 3 businesses, I understand the impact that that has on each of us. And I know that a lot of our business owners maybe already have children that are no longer in school, or they may not. Challenge that we have is for the whole district is the rising cost of insurance and unfunded mandates, and how are we going to continue to send our state and our local monies out for different types of charter schools and everything else, and keeping our students happy at home. District 3 is a very diverse population. We have people who have a variety of interests and who have high expectations for the education of their children. And some of the academics, are we going to have to go to more virtual learning? Are we going to have to allow for early graduation now that we have so many opportunities for credits? Are we going to have to have more college available attendance, for our high school students? And then again, that brings up extracurricular. I know Benton Elementary School has the world champion archery team. So, are we going to have to do more to provide archery in our schools? Are we going to have to, maybe lacrosse is something that's exciting, or volleyball, but just to continue to look for ways to assist our public in the district of Benton. Well, Benton is an ever-growing district, and you can get in your car and drive, and you can see that there are 3 subdivisions that are breaking ground as we speak. And so that just tells me that we're growing. And so I've used that information to say, what are the needs? What do the constituents of District 3 want? And like I say, they have high expectations. So I think we continue to meet those expectations. I think that we have improved in our ability to communicate with the public, and I think that the chamber has helped a lot with that. I think Lisa's been very instrumental in moving us forward. I think our base relations have improved. Also, when I served as president, we had a MOU signed to allow for high school choice, and to open up that East Reservation with the gate. So I think that those are definitely areas that we've made an improvement. Over my tenure on the board, we've also increased our dual enrollment in college and access to that, so that our children can be challenged. Areas of improvement. I think that's ever changing based on what the needs are. I think that we're going to have to continue to look for ways to fund the teacher raises that we've done. We're going to do a better job of that. When the technology wasn't approved, I think we have to continue to look for ways to seek resources to improve the technology. I think I've done a good job of that for the past 8 years. I've not only represented my area, but I've represented the district as a whole. I made it a priority to visit every school site in every department, and to communicate with the people who are on the forefront every day. I know when I served as a consultant, as an occupational therapist in the school system several years ago, I saw what teachers and what therapists were faced with on a daily basis in the classroom. Being a mother of 4, my 4 children are so very diverse in their learning style, so trying to apply that to the classroom. But I think being open to the teachers and listening, I think listening is the most important key. And it should take into a number of different aspects. It should take in not just test scores, because we all know, first of all, not all children test well. But, you know, let the teachers decide, you know, where the students are, evaluate themselves, have a peer review type session where they also can go in and evaluate each other's performance in the classroom, but definitely through the observations of the administrators. Well, I think as in all cases you have biases, and, you know, and that we may prejudge how a class has, and you know, in Bossier Parish even, where you have employee privilege. So are certain classrooms stacked as far as how children are placed in those classrooms, because we do have employee privilege where a teacher, you know, may get to choose their classroom teacher. And so if you have a lot of teachers' children in one class, does that stack it unevenly against another class? So I think that you have to step back and really, you know, say what is the goal for each student in the classroom, and does that teacher have effective classroom management, and then how do they perform those tasks? I think that we need to have district training where we're going in and meeting with our administrators and being sure that they're giving fair evaluations and what is measurable. You know, the state, that's part of the problem with this, everything that's been rolled out and added value education, is that, you know, the time to implement that and the training to give to the administrators. I think that we need to be sure that we're letting teachers know exactly what are they being evaluated on. Administrators need to know what does it mean to be an effective teacher if it's in classroom management. You know, what qualities are we looking for?
How should the district balance using evaluations for accountability and using evaluations to help teachers improve?
Well, again, I think going in with a number of observations, you know, you have your informal and your formal, and I think at the informal, it's always important to set benchmarks of okay, this is where we are, say at the first 9 weeks. This is where you are, this is what your strengths are, this is what your weaknesses are, and then to have a team maybe go in and to show them, this is what we're looking for, how can we help you, but to have those resources there. And then to follow up, you know, just don't wait until the end of the year evaluation, follow up at midterm of the year. And, you know, we have all kinds of data that's coming in. I mean, we are collecting data daily on, you know, where our students are. Well, take the data across the parish and what is working well, maybe if, you know, in Common Core where the basis is English and math, what is working well in math, and how can we apply that, and what is this teacher doing that maybe this group of teachers are not doing. I'm not really sure that I understand all of the effects of what a charter style would be, so I can't accurately answer that question. Again, like I say, knowledge, having the knowledge of being able to talk with stakeholders that are involved to make those decisions. I think over the past 8 years, I've heard numerous times that I'm the voice of reason on the board. So visiting with the community, visiting with the community leaders, visiting with parents, listening to teachers, of course doing my homework, you know, to know what the budget is and where we are, how it's going to impact every stakeholder before you make a decision. So I'll continue to make informed decisions. I think continuing to be a part of the school system. I have 4 children. 2 have already graduated from Benton schools, one who's in high school and one who's elementary school. So I know the stakeholders that are in the communities. I'm a part of the community. I'm involved in the PTOs. I'm involved in the booster clubs. You know, I'm seen at the ball games. And I think that if you're there and if you keep an open ear, I think that, you know, you bring those voices with you to the table. And I think anytime you're making decisions for a community that involves the well-being of your own children, I think that you're going to take every bit of that serious and to heart. I think Common Core is a complex issue, definitely. You know, we're one of 43 states who have adopted the Common Core standard. I do not agree with every aspect of it. I'm not even sure if I completely understand every aspect of that. But you know, as it sits right now, it is what our state laws mandate. It's what Bessie's mandating, and so I think it's our duty to try to implement that within our school systems to the best of our abilities. I think in doing that, as we've talked about before, you provide support for your teachers. I think the time and implementation of Common Core has put a definite strain on the school system and trying to roll that out where you're not really sure of what the standards are going to be or what the direction will be until maybe, you know, the week before school's opening. And we've been doing that for the last 2 years now and trying to implement that and to make changes and to, you know, stay by the computer and to stay by the phone to wait on that information to come in. So, you know, by law, I feel like that we need to support that in our school systems because that's what we're mandated to do at this point in time. But do I personally agree with all of it? No. You know, as a parent, I've heard the parent complaints about the amount of homework and how, you know, how especially math seems to be the subject of where parents are quite confused on how the math is worded and why it's that way. You know, having a first grader, I sit down and struggle with those same concepts every night. But like I say, that's what we're mandated to do, and that's what we've chosen to do right now in Louisiana. So we'll move forward to the best of our abilities. Well, it's just been a pleasure to serve in District 4, and I'm not sure if y'all are aware of why I'm running in District 3, but under District 4, when we went through the 2010 census with the reapportionment of the lines, there were only certain precincts that could be split, and there was a lot of discussion and confusion in the other end of the parish. And knowing that Dr. Brigham was not going to run again, she leaned over to me and said, you know, have you considered us not splitting this precinct and you just being in District 3 so that we could, you know, move forward with the process? And so that's how my home address came to be in District 3. And I do not feel like my work is done. I want to continue. As I say, I'm a mother of 4 children first and foremost. I'm a business owner. I understand the impacts of a good school system, and I think that I've made a lot of contributions over the last 8 years and would like to continue to make those to see especially what Benton has in store for the bond proposal. So thank you. In the fall. And through both of those, that has increased the influx into the middle school and into the high school. The middle school has over 800 students right now. The high school has over 900. And that is going to be our primary concern. We're in the process of trying to find land to build a new high school next to the existing high school so that we don't have to redo all of the expensive athletic facilities. Mm-hmm. And in doing that and looking at that, we've been in negotiations for 3 or 4 years, and it's just difficult to do. So are we going to have to re-look at the plan and develop a middle school